G'day, freedom lovers. It's Friday again, and we're back. Today we got Tom Barnett, which is kind of like the, I guess this is the sequel to, a couple of weeks ago where we had Dave come in and tell us all about the living free movement. Tom's got the whole self-empowerment action going, a bit of natural therapies and whatnot. We've got a few things I want to get started to show people. Obviously, we want to start with the old link tree. Get in there and follow all the social medias. You can find all the contacts you need there, including the GoFundMe page to help get this Indigenous documentary that I'd like to finish when I can afford to do it, because time is money, and I've started a new job in order to keep that money going this week. So I've pumped about 45 hours into being a truck driver. If you're out in Townsville, look out. You see a truck they are driving around, you might want to be cautious. It might be me. I only got my license last week. So moving right along, there's the old Patreon. And I've definitely got to say a big thanks to the first 3 people to join the brand new Patreon account. Good old Jeannie Zonta, number 1, joined in as a first full paid member. Lee D was a second full paid member, and Jennifer Williams, thank you very much for being the 3rd full paid member. So you can jump on by following this link, and that will definitely go a long way to helping us out. Plus you get exclusive content from there. You don't just pay for nothing. It's not just supporting me for the sake of supporting me, which you're welcome to do if you like. But yeah, there's always something extra there. Obviously, you can contact us if you've got a story and whatnot via the Proton Mail. And hey, look, if you do just want to support me for the sake of it, there's the old PayPal. We've started up a Truth Social. It seems like it's just a pretty green area. It's Truth Social is now open to the rest of the world, as far as I know. At least it's open to Australia, so you don't have to hide behind a VPN or something, pretend that you're in America to get onto it now. So I thought I'd give that a look. So if you want to jump on Truth Social, go and have a look. So we've got a couple of comments coming up. G'day, Andrew. G'day, Jen. How are ya? Varupu. Hey, I hope I remembered to say that right. How you guys going? Good to see you too. So I should actually bring those comments up as I say them. Sorry, I'm a bit tired this week. Like I said, 45 hours in a new job has certainly burnt me out just a little bit. So I might be a little bit cognitively unaware this time around. There's the scanning point things you can do as well if you're hang on, I've still got another comment up somewhere. That's the one I want to get rid of. So there's your little scanning point thingies if you want to use those, if that works out better for you. Now we got some more comments coming through. G'day, Andrew. Richo's mate. Richo's a top bloke, so you obviously come with high regards. But let's move along just a little bit. What I'd like to show you guys today, because the theme has been obviously about music a bit lately, with the way what Cafe Lockdown has been doing, what Michael's pushing with the culture concept. And we've also got a bit of a heavy metal sort of what music has taught me thing in the works at the moment. And that will be announced once we know a little bit more about it. But before I do that, I thought I'd like to introduce you to a little bit about me and my history as a former musician. So I'm going to play you, which this is the first song we ever wrote in the band Bogan Nation. And I knocked this lyric video up during COVID, because what else was we going to do? It was in lockdown, and I've got all this technology and all these skills, and may as well put them to some good use. So I knocked up this really cheesy lyric video, and it is intentionally cheesy. I want to make that clear. I've gone out of my way to make it look that way, because Bogan Nation was all about having fun and being cheesy and just having a laugh at yourself. So it might be a little bit heavy for some people. I hope you can sort of keep an open mind and have a good listen. But here it is. This is the first song that our band, wrote in Bogan Nation. So there you have it. There's a little bit of the old me. As you can see, copious amounts of piss were consumed during the making of those kind of things. But it's okay. I'm on the water today. We're all about being healthy and whatnot today as we introduce our new guest. But before we do, let's have a quick look at some of these comments. Oh, yeah. Pam says, hi, g'day. Pam, how are ya? Jan's in there again. Love it. Turn it up. I think you've got the volume control at your end. Thank you. Great lyrics and video. Cheers. That was just the first thing that just poured out of our heads. Like, no shit. Like when we were sitting there, we, conjured up the idea of Bogan Nation, and we just wanted to be really Aussie, and, support Australia and Australian culture and all that. And we looked around the room and we thought to ourselves, all right, TV's made in China, my guitar's made in Japan, the amplifier's made in England. The cigarettes are owned by an American company. The beer, although it says it's a Tasmanian product, I believe was owned by South Africans. And we're thinking, the only thing in this country that was made here is us and possibly the house. How much of the building materials were made here, that's another one's guess. So that really kind of inspired the idea behind it. We really wanted to get a piece of that Aussie pub drinking culture in there. So thank you for your support there. It was a bit full on, and music does get heavier, believe it or not. Yeah, awesome. G'day, Susan. Great to see Richo in there. Yep. No, Richo was a big part of it, eh? Like, he probably did more to help promote the band than some of the band members between you, me, and the Gatepost, and I guess the rest of the world now. G'day from Perth. And I think without further ado, I think it's time to bring our guest Tom into the party. Everybody say g'day to Tom Barnett. How are you, Tom?
Mate. Good, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. How's your week been?
Yeah, good. Yep. Super busy, but it's always good. Never complain.
Yeah, I've seen you done a few podcasts on the living free movement this week. Unfortunately, I had to do 45 hours work, and I'm seeing these notifications going through. Oh, geez, I really wanted to watch that, but I couldn't get to it. So thankfully, I can catch it back on a rerun later.
Yeah, do it while you're driving. Just some driving fodder.
Yeah, a little bit of audio in the background. I'll sort it out once I figure out a few more details. I'm just focused on the road this week, but maybe next week, hopefully I won't sort of get too distracted from the job in the process. So anyway, Tom, I thought it might be a good way to start, as I usually do, with sort of pointing out getting to the point of where was that big pivotal sort of moment for you where you go, hang on, something just ain't right here. Obviously, things is a developing process through it all. But there's always sort of one moment where you go, hang on, what's going on that sort of snowballs the whole thing? What was that for you?
Probably when I got jabbed in the hospital when I was a baby. I don't know. I've just always known, just that's why. Yeah, I've just always known.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because I actually have this really traumatic memory of being 5 years old, pinned down by 4 to 5 nurses while a doctor routinely went around looking for the spot I wasn't fighting to stab me with a fucking needle. So yeah, I feel you on that one, man. That's one of my earliest memories is, fuck, you will not get me.
Yeah.
I fought like as much as a 5-year-old child could.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people, it goes back earlier than that, because I've seen it in kids and I've seen it in animals. When you've sent a kid off to get like an operation or a round of shots, you can see in the eyes, even if I've seen it in puppies and kittens too, they go to get desexed or something or jabbed or whatever. They come back and they can see that they're traumatized because there's distrust in the eyes, because this being that's meant to be looking after them just threw them to the wolves. And they don't know what's going on, but they know the trust was broken. So a lot of us, I think, whether we remember or not, were traumatized by that. But for me, I just maybe I just came into the world. I just knew that I had a purpose, and it wasn't to follow the status quo.
Yeah, I remember taking my dogs to the vet when I was a kid, and as soon as you got within a few 100 meters of that vet, they just stopped dead in their tracks. Nah, I know what this is. I am not going near that joint. They obviously had no trust, and when you finally do drag them kicking and screaming into the vet, they hide under the chair and be shaking like a leaf. I think it's the only time I ever seen my animals in absolute fear.
Yeah, they know. They just, because they know they pick up on you're probably starting to feel it before you get there. And they're just going, wait, something's not right. And then, they can feel probably the energy of the other animals in there, and they're like, this isn't good. But I've always seen it too. I haven't seen it necessarily there, but when they come home and you just can see, whether it's a kid or an animal, there's something in the eyes changed.
So obviously it's been a lifelong journey for you. I've heard a few of your stories leading up to it, but I guess they're kind of already all over the internet if people are really looking forward to going back and finding certain things. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and I mentioned that I had you on the show. He's, oh yeah, he's the guy who has the urine therapies and whatnot. I think he drinks his own pee and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I hadn't heard that one. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that? Because straight away I'm like, okay, I'm curious now.
No, I've done a couple of podcasts with people that have talked about the benefits of urine therapy. So we spoke to Amanda Vollmer twice, and I spoke to a girl named Amy Rosary Wilding in Canada. And we just went through the benefits of urine therapy. It's like thousands of years old. So it can, there's pretty much nothing that it hasn't cured in people, from internal conditions and particularly skin conditions and that. So yeah, it's not for everyone, I guess, but it's I've done it a couple of times. It's not my favorite thing. Can think of better things to drink, but it's definitely effective.
So how hard was it the first time you're looking down at this cup, you know what's in it? What are you telling yourself? How do you go through the motions of, I'm going to drink this?
It's pretty easy, because you just know it's like everything you're taught by the TV and medicine and stuff's all wrong. They say it's a waste product, but the only waste product that comes out of your body is through your butthole. So it's your urine's actually really similar to blood. So you're essentially just getting the information that your body needs. Don't think people should do it all the time, but if you have a condition that needs healing, it's like once I knew it wasn't a waste product, and I'm like, all these other countries collect urine to put into beauty products, to put into medicines, to put into all these other, if you check a lot of the nutritional supplements, beauty products and whatever, the first ingredient is urea or uric acid. They're getting it from collecting urine. So obviously it's not a waste product if they're going around collecting all the stuff. And after that, it's just like, all right, is this going to taste foul? So if you're super unhealthy, I guess it will. And if you watch what you eat and drink, then it's just like, it's not that bad. It's just actually doesn't taste like much at all, to be honest. But yeah, it's only one of those. It's like one of those things. It's like if you do it for fun, I don't know why you do it for fun, but I don't know what that tastes like. But if you've got a condition that you're specifically going to do urine therapy for, it's just kind of like, it's way better than taking like a lot of herbs that you'd take or any other stuff like that. But yeah, it's like anything else. Like if you need it, you'll have it. If you don't need it, just don't worry.
So I remember in primary school, they told us a story about, a couple of fellas who, got lost out in the desert, had no food or water for days on end before they were finally rescued. And they survived by drinking each other's urine, and obviously the story they told us in primary school was that you can't drink your own because it's a waste product, but if you drink other people's, it's okay. Which to me still didn't really lighten the idea of, having to drink pee. But, I mean, as another cure, I mean, the old man, my old man had a lot of, the old random cures for diseases. And one of them, being chilblains, as he said, is you just pee on your own feet. I've never really had the problem of chilblains to go and pee on my feet to see if it really worked. But I think I could possibly start with peeing on my own feet before I step up to drinking it. Yeah. Have you heard anything of that sort of nature as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Fungal conditions, stings, bites, rashes, all that sort of stuff. If you piss on that. And if you have like eczema on the skin, if you have like women in India, if they have vaginal yeast and whatever, they actually soak like underwear or a pad in urine and just sit in that, and it just clears it right up. So anything superficial on the skin is definitely easy to clear up with urine. And but yeah, that story about the survivors, that's inverted, because if you drink someone else's piss, it's got no value to you whatsoever. The only time it would have value is if it was a mother doing it for their kids. But yeah, like for example, if somebody gets stung by something really bad, if you urinate within 20 minutes and get a small amount of that in, it'll clear up any of the poison or whatever that's been administered to the body through the bite or the sting. So yeah, it's very valid. But like I say, there's like heaps of information on the internet, but if you're curious, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, well, it wasn't until, a mate of mine said it earlier, I thought, hang on, I better have a look at that. And I had a quick look, and there was a couple of videos that you've done there. So I guess for anybody who's watching that wants to know more, Tom's already done a few extensive videos you can go have a look at on his respective channels. I literally just typed Tom Barnett urine therapy or something to that effect, and there it is. So, go straight into it. But, I've been looking at the Living Free movement a little bit more since, I spoke to Dave, who had a pretty good sort of a sales pitch for it. And I've had, as much time as you can in 2 weeks to sort of suss it out. I must say I'm pretty impressed with what it looks like. I love the idea of, sort of a private social media interaction and whatnot. And there's so many videos there. It's going to take me a long time to backtrack through them all. Would you care to tell the viewers a little bit more about your specific role within the Living Free movement?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, there is a lot of content, Mark, but it's kind of one of those things, you just take what you need. There's way too much to go through just for no reason. But it's got a search function. So you want to search for what you're interested in, and everything will come up. So my role is basically to facilitate most of the calls. I do live streaming on there, and I'm on the Lawful Me and the Heal Me calls each week as well. And then, and then I just do like the promotion for it as well. So every time I do social media presentations or live streams or posts, just telling people about what we do. But it's, I don't know. There's a lot more to it, I guess, that my role is. But it's really, at the end of the day, my role is to help people come back to just remembering that part of themselves that they might have forgotten or been told isn't there by like a doctor telling you you can't drink piss. It's a waste product. Like, so then you don't know. So it's just having people help you remember the things that until you were indoctrinated, you just maybe forgot, or you didn't know. You didn't know you had certain rights. You didn't know you had a way to deal with the public system because you just told you have to do this and you're not allowed to do that and you have to pay this. And you're like, shit, because you don't have any, it's kind of maybe not right, but you don't have any tools to deal with it. Same with a diagnosis from a doctor. You got this and that's going to have to get chopped off, or you got that and you're going to die in 3 weeks. It's like, am I? It's like they don't give you the tools, but that's the thing. It's like we've been removed from that and we're just providing that because it's all done in the private, which, just for those that don't know what that means, public system is that's regulated by public bodies like the government, TGA, like whatever, any kind of regulatory bodies. When you move into the private, it's only regulated by the agreements between parties. So if you and I, Mark, had an agreement that we're going to do a podcast for an hour and whatever, it's just like, that's the agreement. No one else can regulate that. So with a platform like Living Free, you join under the pretense that you're going to learn. We say that we're going to provide this information and these tools and these resources, and that's it. No one else regulates it. No one tells us what we can't say. No one tells us what we can't provide. And no one tells anyone what you can and can't learn and what's right and wrong, except for the agreement between the parties. So it works really well. That's the way it's supposed to be until we got, moved into the old slave system. And this is just the way out.
No, it's definitely a very good platform. I certainly look forward to diving into it a little bit more. Well, so you say you're sort of delving into the lawful me element and the health element. Are those the two main ones you sort of focus in on?
Yeah, the main ones, though, we've got growing. We've got a grow me section, which is growing and living off grid, solutions to energy, structures, growing, everything like that. Raising animals. And then we've got a spiritual me, which is Nick Patterson takes out. That's a non-religious look at the lessons in the Bible, which is actually just a book on natural law. And then we've got the Optimize Me program, which me and Dave both co-facilitate, which is a mini course that's free on the platform. And then Academy, which I'll be facilitating as well, which is alternative learning. And then there's a dating section coming up too for people that want to meet people who aren't numpties in the head, make better choices with not listening to the telly. So, yeah.
I've certainly heard some bad things about some of those dating websites and whatnot. So it might be good to do it in a more private sort of community-based scenario. Hopefully people feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe even sort of reaching out, knowing that you're in your own sort of place.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of know, everyone's kind of been pre-selected to at least think for themselves, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. There was another new element to the website that was coming up too that's just dropped away from my mind. I can't remember what it was, or something else new you were working on. I can't think of it now.
Oh, there's a marketplace coming up. That's going to be one of the best things, because that's trading goods and services in the private. So like I said, private means it's not regulated by governing bodies, and you don't register to anything, which essentially means if you register, you're just giving yourself away to some other corporate party. So it's private means whatever you do out there in the public, goods, services, which is what we do every day. We trade in commerce, we do it in the private, which means agreements between two parties, no people taxing you, fining you, regulating you, except for the liabilities that may occur between two parties. But that's exactly how that's how it's supposed to work.
Leah Alexander has popped an interesting question. Is there an unvaxxed meeting point? Well, at this point, I think what I'm going to do is say, sorry, YouTube, but we actually had, one of our recent podcasts taken down. If you want to see that podcast with Dennis O'Connor, you're going to have to go to Rumble. Just like if you want to see the rest of this, you're going to have to go to Rumble or Facebook or Twitter, anything but YouTube, because YouTube are still being rather draconian. So, sorry, YouTube. We're going to move along at this point before I get done for medical misinformation yet again. Bye. Remove.